All right, guys, and we are back. We're gonna ask a few questions and then kind of zoom in and see what's going on over there. So if we can ask you some questions about your hair loss and just kind of like a little bit of the journey, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah. Started losing my hair about 2014 very slowly. Before I took like any major action into hair loss, it was about 2019, 2020. I tried the hair fibers and tried the common hair loss drugs like finasteride and minoxidil for about 3 months and got some pretty bad side effects that thankfully have subsided after about 6 months. And then I came across Scalp Logic, doing a little research on scalp pigmentation, and on my YouTube feed, it was another customer of Scalp Logic had posted a video, and the rest is history. Now I'm here. I'm session number 3.
So you had your brother actually work on your scalp in 2020. I know everybody got a little bored, but what was your like thought process? Like, were you like afraid, like, oh my gosh, what if he...
So at the time, my hair loss wasn't very noticeable. It was just in the very center of my head.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, all right, you can just do some impressions on the center of my head, and it probably won't be that noticeable. And sure enough, there is mastery to this, and he does not have that currently. So some of the impressions were very noticeable, and thankfully, you guys are able to kind of have those fade away.
I love his attempt though. He's like, you know what? It doesn't look that hard. I want to try it, because it doesn't look like it would be that hard. Like, it truly doesn't. It's like, all right, I'm putting impressions on a scalp. Like, I mean, they're essentially dots, right? And then once you start getting into it, you're like, oh wow, it's like a whole world of artistry that I had no idea about.
Yeah, 100%. So I was trying to be a nice guinea pig, and was left with a few not so great impressions.
Understood. And we're gonna come in back here and take a look really quick since Joe got out of there. It's always in my way. I'm just kidding, Joe. So you can see our work, and then you can see those impressions right there that he had done that we were like blending out. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna go this way. And let me ask you a question. Was a hair transplant ever like an option for you, something that you thought of?
I thought about it, but never really seriously looked into it. I thought it was kind of too intrusive, and it was also pretty expensive at the time, because that was before I heard about the hair transplants in Turkey being cheaper. But
Yeah.
never gave it really any serious thought, especially with seeing the kind of scarring you're left with afterwards.
Yeah.
It was a big turn off for me.
Yeah, going to Turkey and seeing how many, like, I mean, that's what they're known for. But I would say, though, they do the absolute best hair transplants. If somebody was going to get one, that's something I would say.
Just guys need to know that you get, what did we see? We saw about 24 hair transplants when we were in the Istanbul airport.
Yes.
And what would you say, 75, 80% of the guys, they were on their second or third? No, not that many guys were on their first one.
Exactly.
So you just gotta know that,
Yeah, and when I did the hair loss drugs, I know that if you get a hair transplant, you're probably going to have to hop on those.
Right.
Yeah.
And after doing the hair loss drugs, I was like, that's definitely not an option, because I'm not going to be on medication the rest of my life to keep my hair.
And see, for some people, it seems that it doesn't bother them, or I don't know, maybe it does. It's just, it's like, it's almost like they're willing to accept that so that they can have this process.
It's the compromise. Guys
Yeah.
are desperate, so we'll do a lot. I was just asking Andrew, we were joking, but if guys can give up like body parts, extremities, I wonder how many guys would give up like an arm or a leg or a foot just to have a full, beautiful head of hair.
Yeah.
Like, guys would do a lot to get
That's
their hair back.
so true.
So,
And it's crazy because it's not, I would say not all hair loss journeys are the same, right? Some guys, like, it doesn't necessarily bother, like maybe it's in the back of their head, but they're able to almost kind of put it aside. But I would say a lot of guys, it really does bother them. They're just more, well, I'm a man, I don't want to really speak about it, or, you know.
Yeah, when I first experienced hair loss in 2014, it was very little amount, but I'd say from there on, I was always conscious about how it looks, if anybody's going to notice.
Yeah.
And now, since having this done, all of that mental freedom has come back where I don't even think twice about it.
That feeling
It's just
right there.
very mentally freeing.
That's everything. It's to get up and to not have to be like, oh my gosh, like almost like you wake up and you're already stressing your day because you're like, how am I going to cover this? Is anybody going to notice today?
Yep.
We hear that so often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so important. And we've said this so many times on this platform, but there's not like a space where guys can almost like feel comfortable. Like you guys are going to sit around with like mimosas and be like talking about your guys' hair loss for the most part. If anything, it's like you guys are kind of like making fun of each other, you know?
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. That's what guys do.
Yep.
It's like, oh, you know, I'm so bad at jokes, so I'm not even gonna, I was gonna try. Joe's gonna make fun of you right now with one of my jokes. I was gonna try to like crack a joke. It did not work. No. Joe says my jokes are one of those that you need the, what is it? The papush after.
Drum beat.
Now for you flying here, okay, because like you had to like jump on a plane, get over here, wake up. What time you were saying you were waking up at like 1:30 in the morning? That's wild. Has that part been a little bit just rough for you to do?
Not at all, just because you know what you're coming here for. It's hard to even fall asleep because you're pretty excited.
Aw, that's such a good...
I will say the first session there was a little anxiety.
Yes.
Didn't know exactly what I was getting into, and then after that first session I was like, that was a great experience. Now I'm excited for my follow-up sessions.
That's so cool to hear because it's so true. Like the first one, you're just like, probably the night before, like dreading it, like what if I'm the one person that it just doesn't work with and it doesn't look natural or whatever, my skin doesn't take it. Like you think of all of these things in your head and almost kind of like build yourself up into like a little box of fear.
Yeah, that was me for sure.
Yeah,
like I said, now it's just changed to excitement.
Aw, we'd love to hear
Well,
that.
thank you for letting us put this on the internet because a lot of guys,
Yes,
I'm sure, can watch this and kind of see for themselves what it's like. It helps a lot.
and just having these conversations, right? Because these conversations they're not so out in the open.
Yeah, 100%.
And
that's a topic no man wants to really dive into.
No.
But if you want to get over that and get something done, this is the way to go.
Yeah, that is true. And I would say, like, I feel like a lot of people almost have like a stereotype, and I'm curious because, you know, you don't have, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you don't have like that daddy Yankee look, right?
Exactly.
And so I feel like a lot of people are almost thinking that that's what this treatment is. It's like if you want to be a professional, if you want to be a businessman, you're going to have to get like a hair transplant or you'll have to figure something out. But a hair tattoo, that's not for me. Did you have any type of thoughts like that?
I did about 3 years ago, and it was mostly because a lot of the pictures I had seen, the hairlines looked really fake, and a lot of the ink looked really dark, so that was a big turnoff for me. And when I came across you guys, I was like, that is how it's done. I want it to look natural, I want the hairline to look natural, and that's exactly what you guys offer.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I think that's really what our message is, trying to get people to understand, whether they come with us or not, is that it's got to be 100% undetectable. It's got to be natural at all costs. That's what we're going for. And if it's not, don't get it done. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of the impressions.
And I will also say your guys' YouTube channel has great education for anybody that's wanting to learn more about the process, because going into it I was like,
Thank you.
I don't know the differences.
Yeah.
And when you start looking at the differences between what they do versus other companies, you guys do the subtle pigmentation.
Yeah.
It really starts to, you become more educated and be able to make better decisions when it comes to micropigmentation.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, we definitely love making these videos and just giving the right type of information more than anything, because it is a journey and so many people can feel very much lost, as well as like overwhelmed with the marketing. It can be like, well, really, what's real? You know, I get tripped out these days with like filters and like AI technology. So I think being able to like go live as well and be able to show it, it's that type of transparency is needed. I'm gonna go ahead and come back over here and show you guys before we get off. And if you guys like these lives, please comment below. Let us know what kind of lives you're looking for. We can't always go live. It depends on the client. Privacy is huge. So thank you for letting us. We really do appreciate that. But most of our guys, I would say what, Joe, about 90% of our guys are the guys that are like hiding as they're running in and they want nobody to know that they've had this done, and that's okay.
Yeah, most guys just want to get the procedure done, and if they can help it, nobody knows they even came here, so, which is cool.
Heck yeah, look at that. I always hope that the clarity like comes over, like it translates, that they're able to see each tiny impression. If you guys have any questions, let us know. Yes. So satisfying. Are you getting used to me sticking like a tripod in your face, Joe, as you're working lately?
Oh, you're not bothering me at all, yeah. I'm zoned out. Zoned in.
All right, guys. Well, if you have more questions, Drew Fit has it on his actual YouTube as well. He's been documenting the entire procedure from the first day till even last night. So he'll definitely have some updates on there, and you guys can see the healed version as well. Thank you guys, and you guys have a beautiful day.